What's up, YouTube? I'm back, and today I'm going to change things up a little bit. I'm going to go into more of a podcast mode because these days I don't generally buy too many PMs or precious metals anymore, just because I think I have enough. And at this point, I'm sort of transitioning into a different area of investments. Some would call it a real investment, others would call it speculation. Either way, I'm just trying to get in the best position that I can, because I still don't trust the stock market. I sold some off late last year. Of course, it had a nice run, so thankfully I didn't sell all of it, just in case. And with the proceeds that I did get from the stock sales, I ended up putting that towards my mortgage and also into some repairs, because I recently got a job in a different location, in a different city, and I had to get my place ready for the rental market, because getting good renters usually requires to get the place up to a high standard, at least in my location. So that required fixing some mold issues, so I had to rip out my kitchen sink. I also had to rip out my upstairs bathroom because the neighbor's bathroom was leaking into my condo. And after fixing that, I resurfaced the floors, had to put everything into storage. I ended up doing new paint on the walls, fixing all the holes, and just doing all these little things that I never really did when I was actually living there. So it's kind of funny how that works, where the new tenant actually gets a better place than when you were living there. I also replaced the microwave and a bunch of all these little odds and ends. Fix the toilet stoppers, fix all these little leaks, and just little things here and there. And that got me to thinking, perhaps this is a little bit better, something I should be looking into, because it is kind of fun. And stacking is a little bit stressful, and a lot of it you're just buying and holding. And I think I have enough. So the fact that I have enough, I'm actually looking towards purchasing a different property. And there was another stacker that did this specifically and advised us how to do it. Silver Slacker. He was one of the first guys I ever saw who was buying up property, renting them out, rehabbing them himself, and then renting them out so that those renters would pay for his stacking. Now, that got me to thinking recently. Before, I couldn't afford it. And now that my place is actually rented out after I got my first place, and now that I'm moved back into a different location, and now that my rent is cheaper, I'm actually able to consider doing that as an option. Because living in California, the real estate is very expensive. And now I'm considering using these California dollars and investing in a different location where I might be able to get either a single family home or a multi-unit building and rehab and rent it out, or go turnkey. I'm still trying to decide depending on the location. Right now I'm actually looking for the location. I'm still stacking, but it takes up a smaller percentage of my budget, and more of my budget is actually going towards paying down my mortgage and saving towards a down payment on a different unit. That said, I don't think that right now is the best time to purchase, but it takes a while to save up some sort of down payment, so it's better to start sooner than later. And when the time does come, if there's ever an economic downturn, I've been watching so many videos. It seems like some of the best videos or YouTubers that get the most subscribers are all talking about the economic downturn and all this and that. And, more power to them, but I was believing that for a while, but now I'm just like, no, maybe that's not the case. I'm ready for it if it happens, but I'm not going to stop and think that I'm not going to live my life in that mantra or in that mindset. Instead, I'm going to have my stack prepared for that, and at the same time, I'm going to try to keep moving forward by setting up and prepping for it. And if I end up making a purchase at the wrong time, it's okay. Now, I still have a backup plan. I still have a backup stack, and I may end up selling some of that stack in order to purchase a rental property. And when these properties are purchased correctly, the cash flow or the rental the rent from it should take care of itself. So in essence, it should be cash flowing and not burning a hole in my pocket. It should actually be at least paying for itself. What frustrates me the most about the precious metal market is that it'll take a month or two to move up 5 to 8%, and within a week or two lose all of those gains. And to some people, that's acceptable. Some people will want to save up for retirement in this. But for me, looking at precious metals is mainly going to be used as a drawdown, meaning once I use up whatever funds I have, that's pretty much it. So I need something in addition to that will be a little bit more perpetual. So one will be a drawdown, the other one will be a perpetual payment or passive income. And that's what I'm really looking for. I mean, even making these YouTube videos, I'm probably going to start making them again, going through this process, because I'm learning a lot. And I want to share what I learn, my mistakes, what I learned from, what works. And, maybe it'll help someone. I am learning from a lot of people on YouTube. And YouTube itself is another great avenue for passive income. I know I'm a little bit all over the place, but right now I'm kind of in a stage where I'm reassessing where I'm at. I'm reassessing my positions, and I want to make use of what's there. Last year was a very good year for me, and my war chest is much better. And now that I have a renter in my spot, and the place that I'm living at right now is also a bit cheaper, that I'm able to do a lot more with my money, and I'm able to deploy it in a much more aggressive way. And even though last year was a good year for me financially, I did have a bit of trouble on the health side, which made me realize the fact that if I draw down, I'm eventually going to run out of cash, especially if you have health issues. So that made me change my strategy a bit overall on the big picture side, and it made me rethink, how can I increase my passive income so that there's always a revenue stream that can help me offset any emergencies that I might have to pay for. So between working, stacking, now moving into real estate or rentals, and then YouTubing, those are roughly 3-4 different areas of income generation. I will say with my YouTube channel, even though I haven't really produced that much content, I'm still making over $700 a year, or 100 some odd dollars every other month from my old videos, not doing anything. So I do want to document what I'm doing now, because 1, I can help folks, 2, I can help myself, and 3, it's just nice to share the experience and document the experience so I can look back. I look back at my videos now and I'm like, wow, my stack has really changed and my thinking has really evolved. I still expect to make a lot of mistakes going through this process, and it's going to cost me some money, and I know there's going to be a lot of people who point out my mistakes, and I'm all for that, because that way I can learn. I can actually learn a bit faster. I see it as a positive, since now I've been on YouTube long enough to ignore the trolls and learn from the people who are generally knowledgeable, or who I think is knowledgeable. But I'm sure even that I'll make mistakes, and I'll pay the noob tax, as we always do. But over time, now that I'm still young enough to where I still have earning capacity and I can still make some money and I can take some risks. If I could offer any advice to the younger stackers or those who will watch my channel, I'd say try to take a balanced approach to your portfolio and try to get as many income sources as you can. So that way, over time, you're building more than one avenue, and you kind of mitigate your risk for a single source of income, being cut off, like your job or a rental or even your YouTube channel, whatever it is. The more sources of income that you have, the better. And if you're able to build it over time, the less one will impact you. So for 2019, I've kind of modified my goals a little bit now that 1, my rental is out of the way, and then 2, I started my job, which is to 1, get better at my job, 2, build up my revenue streams, which means to produce more YouTube content on the new subject that I'm learning about the real estate market and the different methods for financing that I'm using. Like right now, I'm learning a lot about HELOCs, velocity banking, multi-unit apartments, how to find property, how to go about getting it, who to work with, and all these things that, there's some YouTube videos on, but it is a bit overwhelming. So I'll try to piece together my 2 cents and then see how it goes. When I look back on these videos, I'll see what worked for me and what didn't work for me, and I'll adjust to make it better for the next round. Because I use this a lot for my stacking when I would post a video on my buy strategy and then I would revisit it 6 months later to see if it was still working or I should adjust it. And the same thing, I'll do the same thing once I do it for the real estate market too. Or at least when I'm doing a rental or where I'm at, just to do an assessment. I know some people don't like the idea of making money off YouTube and they think the whole idea of stacking is for prepping, but I wouldn't say I'm a prepper. I would say I prep for economic collapse just in case it happens, but I'm also prepping for in case it doesn't happen and there's still a bright future ahead, or at least as long as it can go on, because bad things don't have to happen. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I will add some of that drama into my videos just because it is interesting and I do have some thoughts on the subject, but the dominant idea in my head is that I need to set up some additional passive income, and even in a rough time, there's opportunity in chaos. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought of this video in the comment section below and hit that like button if you're interested in seeing more about this type of content.